Okay, so now you've completed all of the rest of the ratios, and let's just check and see what you got to so we can make sure we're all on the same sheet of music, all right? So there's the ones I did, and we've just made them a little prettier than mine. We've got the arrows going, two of them going down, one of them going up, and of course in number 3, the debt to worth, the ratio going up is basically going to be a good or bad trend. Bad. From the standpoint of us sitting in a banker's chair, it's a bad trend. So his ability to pay bills is deteriorating, his ability to generate cash is deteriorating, and his risk is increasing. You with me on this? Okay, and we already had those done, so hopefully you got the same thing I did. Now what we did is we took the whole ratio scorecard. Actually, what we want to do is let's just look at 4 and 5, and we'll go through them in segments. Everybody got the same thing, I hope, as I did, 18.185, and you made that into a decimal percentage, 18.5%, and the trend is what? Down. So is he maintaining his margins? No, his margins are deteriorating in percentage, even though they may be increasing in dollars, right? Net margin, trend what? Went down and then went what? Way down, rolled off the table. 0.29%. Put that in words. For every what? For every dollar of sales, he's making how much before tax? 29 cents, right? No. 0.29%. 2.9 cents. No. 3/10 of a penny. 3/10 of a penny. He's almost got his profit to zero, which then he'll say, I don't have to pay any tax, right? All right. Right now, all we're trying to do is get the whole picture laid out on the table. We're not trying to do a lot of analysis. We just want to look at the trends. So ratios 6, 7, and 8 is efficiency ratios. Again, sales to assets. And by the way, the first three ratios, they all came off of what? Which financial statement? Balance sheet. The next two came off of the income statement. Now we have what we call efficiency ratios, and the rest of these are efficiency ratios, and I just want to point this out. An efficiency ratio in finance is easily recognized because one number comes off the income statement and one number off of what? The balance sheet, and they go together. That's what causes the efficiency. So his sales to assets, for every dollar he's got in assets, every dollar he's got invested in assets is creating how much in sales? $1.90, right? $1.90. What was it creating last year? $2.30. What's happened to the efficiency of his assets in creating sales? They've gone down. Something's going on there. We know that between year 3, this year, the just completed year, and year 2, what's the difference? Every dollar invested in assets is creating how much less in sales? 40 cents. Is that a lot? Whoa. Multiply that by $1 million or $2 million or $10 million in dollars, and we got a chunk. We want to know what's going on. Is there a reason? Now, there are times when ratios are going the wrong way, and we know what the reason is. And there is a reason, and he's planned for it. There he's being proactive, not what? Reactive. Oh my gosh, what happened? I have no idea. The I have no idea concept is not comforting if you're a lender. I planned it this way, and it would be good to have known when. Ahead of time. Prepare me for this and let me know why. Then it seems like you're on top of you've got control of the business instead of the business controlling you. All right, ROA. ROA. Return on assets. Trend is what? Down. Where is he today? For every dollar he's got invested in assets, what's he making? Half a cent. Awful. Pretty much awful, isn't it? And ratio 8, the fundamental capitalistic formula, ROI. Money flows to where the returns are. Trend? Way down. Trend way down. For every dollar he's got invested in it, he's making what? He's getting his 2 cents worth. Exactly. All right. And finally, we can see the last 6 ratios also all going the wrong way. Inventory turns down, 5.6, up and then down a little bit, 4.2. Days, From 64 down to 44, up to what? 86. So he invests his dollar. How long does it sit there? 86 days. What do we know straight away? We know that he does not sell fish. If it sits there 86 days, we would smell. He sells fertilizer now, doesn't he? Or fish oil. Receivables turns. Trend down, days up. Isn't that right? 45 days. Now, it'll be interesting to see where the industry sits, won't it? To know whether he's giving more or less credit. If he's giving more credit, that makes him a soft touch. And who will he attract as customers? Deadbeats. All right. And payables. Turns went way down, didn't they? And his days went way up. He's now paying in 63 days. In your mind's eye, just tell me, picture his office. What's ringing? The phone. Who's calling him? The creditors. He's not paying them, but they can't get through because he's talking to his banker. Everyone wants a piece of him. Isn't that right? Do you suppose he knows that? Yes, that's why. Are you guessing that these days he's answering his own phone? I'm guessing he has somebody in between to do what? Hold him at bay, huh? I'm sorry, he's in a meeting with his banker, right? In other words, we want to keep, I know what's happening here. All right, trends. Now, if we take a look at the whole picture, all of them are going what? Wrong way. Now, as you can imagine, I've created a case study here. This is not necessarily normal. Oftentimes, we'll see that people do something well, or a lot of things well, and a few things not so well, right? I merged 3 or 4 different businesses so this would all come out and give us lots to talk about here, okay? Put him in deep kimchi, as it were, right? Now, we've got one more column to fill in. What is it? It's the industry composite. So what I'd like you to do, you have a sheet that talks about composite information. I'd like you to pull it out. So you've got, there it is right there. That's the one. Pull it out. Yep. So you've got your ratios. Now don't set it on top of one another. You gotta spread out here. All right, so we got an income statement, a balance sheet, a comparative data or a benchmark sheet, and your scorecard. Now, very simple. I want to show you how to read this. I'm going to do the first one. Okay, what's the first ratio that we need the comparative for the brothers? Current ratio. It's the current ratio. All right. So here's how you read this thing. It's very simple. Down the center is the table of contents, assets and liabilities. This first group, this is going to be what with assets and liabilities? It's going to represent which financial statement? Balance sheet. Absolutely. Then income data. That's going to represent what? The income statement. Absolutely. And then we got a whole bunch of ratios going down. I've just put part of mine there. You've got all of them. Now, up to the top left, current data. You see where I'm going? You with me on that? On your sheet, you've got current data. 0 to a million to 10, 10 to 50, 50 to 100. Everybody okay with that? Now, we need to know 0 to a million what? Dollars of what? Sales is what everyone thinks it should be, except for bankers. It tells us dollars of what, as you read across? Assets. Now, they also do it by sales in their book, but bankers tend to look at comparative asset size because we loan money to finance what? Assets, not sales. We also do it, we also put it together, we can get it put together. Most of us, human nature, we focus on sales. So what I need you to write at the top of this page, right up here, I need you to write a number. And the number will be the total assets for the financial year just ended off the balance sheet. Find the total assets and write it at the top of the page. That's going to tell us which column to be in. And what's the number? Anybody? 1,131,000. Million what?
131.
1,131,000, absolutely. So which column does that put him in? Well, you see 1 to 10. 0 to a million to 10, 10 to 50, 50 to 100. Which ones are going to put them in? 1 to 10. And right under the 10 million, how many companies are we using the data from to get these numbers?
62.
62, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. If you happen to be a $55 million company, how much data? How many companies? 2. And one of them is probably you. And you already have you, don't you? All right. So you with me so far? So we know we're going to be in this second column. Now, the first ratio we need is the current ratio. So you're going to read down under ratios till you come to what word? Current. And then you're going to read across to which column? Second column. And you'll have how many choices between the two horizontal lines? 3. And you want to be at least as good as the middle. Isn't that right? And what is the number in the middle?
1.8.
Sorry?
1.8.
1.8. Is that right? Is that your number? 1.8. So where are you going to fill that in?
Industry composite.
The industry composite. So fill it in, 1.8. All right, now you know what I need you to do now? You do, don't you? I need you to do the rest of them. Go down and find the rest of them. Go across. Whenever you have 3 choices, pull the middle. We'll talk about why. And when we get back together, we'll compare your numbers with mine and make sure we're still on the same sheet of music, and we'll have the entire report card built.